On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Juan Merchan is going to definitely have to step down. And we're going to get into that. It's not really the main story, but it is kind of one of the bigger stories, I think. Minus the fact that Israel's probably about to go to war with Iran. We're expecting that to happen any time now. An attack likely, I would assume, when it gets dark. Don't know. We'll see how that all plays out as well. Some stuff with Trump. Got some stuff around the border. Got stuff with Biden, Harris. Everything. We got a lot, covering it all. And a whole bunch of weird crap going on around the world right now. Weird crap, just like randomly weird. And covering it all. First, I want to remind everybody, please check out the music show on Friday. Live, if you can join us, it'd be great. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is when the show starts. Doing Doobie Brothers this week. Should be a lot of fun. If not, you should check it out afterwards anyways, because I've got great songs. I got about 15 songs lined up. Not about 15, exactly 15. And we'll be playing it. So it's going to be good times. And then should be doing Synchronicity, but we'll find out tomorrow when that happens. Also want to remind you guys, for those of you interested in merch, go to truththread.shop. And that's truththread.shop. A lot of different choices out there. 5G Warfare. We've got some stuff that's specifically just a channel. A little Tumblr thing. We got some new shirt coming soon. But we'll get there when that happens. Again, truththread.shop. Please check that out as well. All right, let's get into the shameful event. This is really sad. Female boxer got basically hit once by the male boxer. This chick has been training her whole life, the female was. Became an amazing boxer. They put her up against a dude. And that's not okay. And so, yeah, just watch this. Everything that she could and wanted to be was tied around that. Now, again, South Park predicted this, oddly, again. They had a macho Randy Savage, I guess, pretending to be a woman, just beating the hell out of women. I didn't see the episode. It's amazing how often South Park has actually done stuff that's turned to be quite prophetic. Probably not by accident. But the world just witnessed a brutal red pill. This woman who has tirelessly pursued a dream of winning in the Olympics was beaten by a biological male. The only solution is for women to stand up and say no. No, they will not compete against men. No, a man cannot be a woman. This is time to be bold. Jake Paul put this out, and I think this is pretty awesome, fighter guy. Said to Angela Carini, although your dreams couldn't come true today because of the crazy agendas that are at play in our world at the moment, I would love to offer you to fight on an MVP undercard to show the world your talents on a fair platform and not against a man. Internet, help this find her. I hope she's interested in doing something like that. She'd obviously make a bunch of money, and she could, once again, demonstrate how good a fighter she truly is. And Donald Trump says he will keep men out of women's sports. And we know Donald Trump is very fond of the MMA and all that kind of stuff. And he's, yes, very women fight each other. Awesome. Do it all day long. Men fight each other. Awesome. Do it all day long. I don't care what you feel like. You're fighting as your biological sex, period. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Don't give a crap. Now, this guy's funny as heck because, we're always the weird ones, like he points out. And I think he makes amazing points and does it in a pretty funny way. Don't know who the hell he is, but definitely funny.
So the left keeps calling the Trump-Vance ticket weird. Yeah. The party that tells us they can't define what a woman is, that boys can have periods, men can breastfeed, and a woman doesn't need anything from a man to get pregnant is calling them weird. That logic takes a lot of balls. There's no reason to bring Michelle Obama into this, but the people that preach climate change and yet build their mansions on the beach and jet around in private planes, the people that want to kill their unborn babies, shout their abortions, hate the nuclear family, want you to believe that you're weird. Yeah, the people that mask up alone in an automobile, socially distanced, hugged grandma through saran wrap, put their kids behind plexiglass and waved through a window at a nursing home while grandpa breathed his last, and then they willingly lined up to be living lab rats while Big Pharma tested a mass medical experiment on them are going to tell me that I'm weird. The people that call rioting and burning down cities peaceful protesting, they find racism, sexism, and hatred in every single thing. They dye their hair purple, get offended by pronouns, and think there's 247 genders and fret over cow farts, want me to believe that I'm the weird one. These are the people that drink out of paper straws, plug their car into a wall, eat bugs, call obesity beautiful, fight for a man's right to piss next to a woman, and expect the government to run their life from cradle to grave and name their kids dumb shit like Apple. I think I'll be the weird one. Okay, love you. God bless.
Boom, right? Damn, well done. I don't know if he practiced that. Hell, I don't even think I could have memorized all of what he said. That was very, very good. Impressed. All right, some FJB stuff. Why? Because, well, I'm not going to get to say this for too much longer. This is getting pointed out for kind of the backwards reason, so forgive me. Mike Lee, I believe it's Utah. Utah, I'm really worried about you guys. You guys are like this strange state that needs to seriously get, I know it's an internal thing that needs to happen there. You all need to get your internalized stuff straight. And Romney is just an out-of-control problem. And Senator Mike Lee, I've got a problem with you, sir. Now, I know this story is meant to make Biden sound like the bad guy, but I am going to, in fact, say you are the bad guy, sir. Biden's an idiot. That's a given. Apparently, Biden didn't recognize his wife, Mike Lee's wife. She introduced herself to him. Biden kept having a problem with the fact that, do my part of my staff, or do you work for me? Blah, blah, blah. And he just couldn't figure it out. Over and over and over, they had this conversation, could never figure it out. So, Senator Mike Lee, and this goes back, I want to say to I thought there was a year in here somewhere. It might have been the article when I was reading it, but it goes back to I don't know, earlier in Biden's presidency, probably, I think, 2021 or something like that, 2022, somewhere, whatever. Doesn't matter. But Mike Lee has apparently known about Biden's mental degradation all that time. How come he never said anything? Right? See, it's funny how all these people been aware of the fact that this guy's losing his marbles and haven't said anything. Why is that? Now, I get, Mike, I could put some words in your mouth, but I'm not gonna this time. Not gonna. Why didn't you let us know? Whose side are you on, man? Come on. Donald Trump, truth this out. Word is they refuse to have Sleepy Joe at the Democratic National Convention. They hate him, and he hates them. A little bit of a war is brewed, it seems. 25th Amendment's definitely going to come at some point. I think, honestly, it's probably going to be the only way they can get the money. We'll see. They might just cheat anyways and steal it. All the above. Attorney General Andrew Bailey, I am filing suit to halt the illegal Biden Bucks program created by executive fiat. It threatens the integrity of our elections. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not get to use your taxpayer dollars to benefit their political campaigns. Not on my watch. Illegal Jordanian migrant who tried to breach Quantico base is allowed to walk free after posting a bail. First off, I get they don't ever want to put people in jail. I don't understand it. I mean, but I get it. That's just like, you've done it so many times. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna do this. You watch. So they will. But what's funny is these Jordanians are the ones that literally tried to get onto a base illegally in Quantico. They tried to get onto a military base illegally in Quantico, or the Quantico base, and yet they're being released to come back to do a trial. They weren't kicked out of the country. These guys literally made their way into a base and they get kicked out of the country. This is Biden, once again. Now, something else we're finding out about. Legacy media, of course, not talking about it. Not a surprise to me, but some of you guys might be like, really? Could be. But they're spreading Democrat disinformation about the border, it seems, or misinformation, they're saying it. It's wrong, so misinformation. CBS is glossing over the fact that the current administration's mass imports inadmissible foreigners into the interior of our country now. So the number of inadmissibles, they dismissed this 46,500 people per month missing from the data with this editorial fig leaf. Those figures do not include entries at official border crossings, otherwise known as ports of entry, where the Biden administration is processing roughly 1,500 migrants per day through a phone app. Totally leaving out the people he's flying in and all the other stuff that they're not admitted through the border or the port of entry. Assuming that's to a degree what the inadmissibles is. They don't define it really well, but here's J.D. Vance at the southern border. That's so strange. Kamala, why? You were the border czar, even though they say you weren't, but you were.
Close here in a second, but I want to just point out that when the media lies about Kamala Harris being the border czar, here is what you're lying about. You cannot have an effective border policy unless you have somebody who is coordinating all the different agencies of the U.S. federal government. You need the State Department involved to send people back to their home countries. You need the Department of Justice involved to prosecute these terrible drug crimes. And of course, you need DHS involved so that the Border Patrol is empowered to do their job. Kamala Harris, as border czar, was asked to coordinate all these functions of government, and she's done nothing. Every time I ask these guys, and I even asked Brandon, Paul, let's play devil's advocate here. Tell me, has Kamala Harris done anything you've asked her to do? She is the border czar. Has your border czar done anything you've asked her to do? And the answer is no. They send letters, they make phone calls, they are begging the American president and vice president for leadership, and their own border czar ignores them. That is a scandal, that is a disgrace, and to every American watching this, it will stop, but only if you elect Donald J. Trump president in just a few months. God bless you guys. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we kind of got to put a stop to all this stuff, right? And I know a lot of people are like, I don't think we're going to make it. Been hearing that for 4 years now. Here we are, right? I'm sure we'll make it, but it's going to probably get uglier and uglier every step of the way. The Biden admin is eyeing a parade of foreign visits for the president's final months in office. Apparently, they're going to be doing all sorts of visits, running around and meeting all sorts of people and places all over, for that matter. Wonder what he's going to be doing. I don't know, because some are saying, at least the deep state's super mad at him because he failed, which he did. And that's why they essentially kicked him out. I think it was Donald Trump, actually, that was saying this. I don't know if he said it exactly quite like that, but he failed them. He's very pissed at them because they kicked him out. They took it away from him. You all, whoever, not you all, but people voted for him, I guess. I mean, obviously not 81 million, supposedly to be the most popular president ever, and they've taken that away from him. Again, that should raise all sorts of curious flags for many. But they don't care. They're going to hold on to power however they can. Now, I do believe we've been cornering them, and I do believe we're cutting off certain things, and they no longer have those toys or those abilities or that control that they once had, namely propaganda. So we'll see how this continues to play out. I take it every day like a new day. What are you going to show me? What's got to happen? How can I help? Like every day. Every day, that's like my general take anyways. We try. We've got MyPillow, and I love MyPillow. MyPillow.com/OTF. You're going to get yourself a very, very awesome discount using that code. One of the best promo codes out there. I think similar probably to many of them. I'm going to be honest with you. But the employee pricing sale is really sweet. That's the original MyPillows for just under $20, $19.98. It's an extra $5 if you want to get the king size. Awesome. They got these awesome toppers that they're getting out right now. They're $99.99. Great products. So you want to definitely check out that. And I do believe I also have, let's see if I can find it reasonably quickly. But I do have one of the awesome ones that they made for us. So check out the premium pillow that they're also selling right now. Check it out.
You ask and we listen. We're finally bringing the most requested offer ever. Get the queen size premium MyPillow, now only $19.98. MyPillow is made with patented adjustable fill. It adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. It helps keep your neck aligned and holds its shape all night long so you get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. Get our 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets only $25. Our brand new mattress topper as low as $69.98. Get our famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25 and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products, including the premium queen size MyPillow, only $19.98. That's the lowest price ever. Don't delay, order today. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Love it. And everybody's got to have that blue shirt. Come on. Of course they do. Of course they do. So, again, great stuff, great products. Got to definitely go to mypillow.com/OTF and take advantage of the great sales, great savings, bunch of $25 stuff, even stuff under $25 it seems, but pillows and everything under the sun. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. How about that? How do them apples sound? Okay, we got some news here, folks. We got some other news. Was this Trump stuff, I think? I think so. Former president of PayPal, David Marcus, announced he has switched political parties. He's endorsing Donald Trump via X. So this is coming out today. He's a big tech entrepreneur. We've had a bunch of these guys been coming out lately, basically saying, yeah, no, we don't like this other group of people. A lot of people are finally finding the courage to do the right thing, or the time's finally right, or they finally realize that we are, in fact, winning. They weren't sure, maybe, and now they kind of are sure. Whatever the case is, we've got people coming out of the woodwork these days, it seems, and working towards trying to help right the wrongs that this whole planet's been under for a long time. Rep. Byron Donalds was talking about President Trump going into hostile territory when he went and did that Chicago thing with the black press or whatever it is. Anyway, check this out.
It's a hostile environment, obviously. A lot of black journalists tend to lean Democrat, lean very left. Hostile environment, but Donald Trump was there to answer the questions about the things that do matter to black America, like matter to all of America. And it is securing our border. It is inflation. It's energy policy and so much more. That's a major step forward, not only for President Trump, but really for our entire country, because he's not afraid of going into any venue at any time, anywhere.
And I mean, he did, right? Like, it's pretty impressive what Trump did. Right into the lion's den, which I think garnered a huge amount of respect for a lot of people. Donald Trump talking about this. The questions were rude and nasty, often in the form of a statement, but we crushed it. And he did a pretty good job. Now, he had talked about how Kamala wasn't black. Now, all of a sudden, she's black. And people were like, that's racist. You can't say that. First off, yes, you can. You can say anything you want, and you can call me racist all you want. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. You could think I'm racist. A bunch of other people might not, right? So who cares, right? Just got to go with it sometimes, right? That's why it's tough to read the comments. But here is her just back in 2019 when she was running for president, telling everybody she's Indian.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so, were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food.
Right. So, yeah, she's Indian. Or, well, she's got another half of the family, apparently, that didn't matter back then. Weirdly. Ben and Candy Carson say, I commend my friend at Real Donald Trump, or I commend, my friend at Real Donald Trump for going into a hostile environment at the NABJ today and answering tough questions. What time does VP Harris get to Chicago? That's right. She didn't show up because most of the journalists in the room already do her bidding for her. Well done. Now, Donald Trump's gag order still remains in effect after the hush money conviction. New York appeals court, they said, nope. Sorry, buddy. No can do. Now, of course, he can appeal, and he probably will, up to the Supreme Court. All said, he is probably not happy about that. But what's interesting, and where Juan Merchan was probably like, yeah, doing a victory dance, well, what's kind of come out is the problem right now. And so Donald Trump, his lawyers have filed a new request asking Judge Merchan to recuse based on presidential candidacy of Kamala Harris, a one-time client of Merchan's daughter, Lauren. Merchan still has a gag order in place prohibiting Trump from making critical statements about Lauren. But what we know, and someone pulled this is from Lauren Merchan's consulting website, still shows Kamala Harris for president 2020 as its top client. And she's, again, running for president. And she's been fundraising off this for the Democrats. This is absolutely recusals necessary at this point. This is insanity. FBI is ramping up its censorship efforts ahead of the 2024 election. They are going to resume their regular meetings in the coming weeks with social media companies to brief and discuss potential FMI, which is the foreign malign influence, something to that effect. Apparently, because the Supreme Court case where this one didn't make it, they're still going to continue to offer guidance to social media companies. Now, I think a lot of social media companies probably won't take them up on it, or maybe will be very selective about what they do take them up on. But apparently the FBI is, again, actively working on censoring foreign malign information. Yeah, there it is. Influence. So, which, by the way, anytime they call any of us a Putin puppet, for that matter, that could be considered foreign malign influence, even though I'm not working with them in any way, shape, or form, and there's zero of that, but the stories I share, they may find disturbing. Malinformation might cause problems for them. Chuck Schumer's going to roll out No Kings Act to eliminate presidential immunity. Again, this is one of those funny things where branches have certain inherent things, and the one branch trying to limit another branch is not allowed because they're co-equal branches. You can't limit one of the co-equal branches. Just like they tried to change what the Supreme Court can do, they're also going to try to influence what the executive can do. Now, one, that's just not constitutional, period. Ultimately, if they ever passed this stupid law, it would end up in the Supreme Court. But they're not going to be that lucky. One, if this even manages to get through the Senate, which I would be kind of surprised, but it might, it ain't going to make it through the House. Not going to happen. But they're trying. They want to redo the Supreme Court. Can't do that either. They're going to try, but they're not going to be able to. Biden can't do it on his own. He can't do it as an executive order. Again, you can't, as a branch of government, affect another co-equal branch of government just on some commands you make as an individual. Like, no way an executive order would ever be accepted by the Supreme Court or anybody. That would never go. So they're making all these claims, but they don't have any real legs to stand on right now, which, kind of a plus, I think. So they're calling this breaking news, but this is Andrew Bailey again. And he's launching a full investigation into Google's censorship and bias that is constricting the free flow of information. Google, the largest search engine operator in the world, the two largest search engine operators in the world, by the way, are both Google, both Alphabet, and the second one's actually YouTube. But they are the biggest and has become a propaganda wing of the left. No more hiding behind your algorithm. Your time is up. Senator Marshall is going after them. So this, we're going to see investigations occurring. We'll see, again, if they actually manage to do anything for us, hopefully. The scandal around the Biden-Harris administration site selection process for the FBI headquarters. So there's an investigation into this. There's a little bit to this. I don't want to go too heavily into it, but the long and short of it, I think it's this other page. Let's see if I can get back to it. Nope, of course not, because that would be silly. That would be fun. So the place that they chose was actually owned by the company that... So the lady that was on this board that was making the decision, it wasn't really a whole board of people because they had their own thoughts of what should happen. And she's like, no, here's what we're going to do. So she used to work for the people that own this. So the real estate and parking, I guess the vice president of real estate and parking at WMATA. This is her former role. Well, they own the plot, the area where she decided they were going to build the new FBI building. First off, I don't think they should build the FBI building. And for those of you that agree with me, hang tight, you might be happy. But she's kind of orchestrated this thing that didn't make a lot of sense, that went against the judgment of the others that were involved on this. And a lot of people are like, what are you doing? Why were you doing that? Why? How did you come to this conclusion that this was a better idea to go against what everybody else was saying? So come to find out, Congress said, so here's the deal. We're not gonna actually give you guys the money. The committee believes the current proposal for a new FBI headquarters is inadequate, ill-defined, and does not take into account the current requirements of the FBI. Accordingly, GSA should submit a prospectus that includes accurate and updated information on costs and scope and considers alternative solutions on locations that may better meet the FBI's current mission. Chris Wray hated this place, this idea too, by the way. He was another one of the people that's like, this is a horrible place. So Congress said, no, we're not funding this. This ain't happening. We're not bringing it up for a vote. You guys come back to us. So they tried and said, yes, we're going to build a new FBI headquarters. Right now, that is not happening. Now, whether that changes after the election, because no ground will have been broken, and I doubt they will have gotten any further along. So this probably isn't happening. That's a big victory. Google defeats RNC lawsuit claiming email spam filters harmed Republican fundraising. Just to give the skinny on this one, they essentially, I don't disagree with this. If it's what is stated in this story, but that certain users were marking emails from a specific group, the Republican National Convention, as spam. And so because of that, everything that individual got from that point on was considered spam that was anything that was like that. But it was user activated. It wasn't necessarily Google's algorithms doing it, like the censorship they were doing on the search terms. That's kind of a different thing altogether. So, that one didn't happen so much. We'll see how these games continue to play. Now, this is really weird. Anyone in Georgia, man, we need you guys to make some serious ripples out there, make some serious noise. Apparently, 2024 Georgia election is poised to explode thanks to the Secretary of State's inaction. I think this section works enough. I actually read more of it. It didn't bring a whole lot extra to this, but Mark Davis, he sent the Georgia Secretary of State and the state election board a complaint seeking an investigation of as many as 25,794 potentially illegal votes cast during the 2022 midterm elections. A complaint filed simultaneously with the Georgia Secretary of State and the state election board and obtained exclusively by the Federalist reveals tens of thousands of potentially illegal votes were cast in the 2022 midterm election. This revelation comes after the Georgia Secretary of State ignored a similar complaint, highlighting evidence indicating that nearly 35,000 potentially illegal votes may have been included in the final tally, certifying Joe Biden as the state winner by 11,779 votes. That was the difference in Georgia. When they say it's not determinative, that's not true. 35,000, most likely all to Joe Biden, is enough to tilt the favor to Trump. And we had the same case in Arizona, too. Two major battleground states where major cheating happened. Pennsylvania, they just did a bunch of illegal stuff, and they're still kind of a mess up there, let's be honest. Wisconsin's come a long ways, too. Especially because how Trump's been running around doing what he's been doing. Was that where they had Wisconsin's where they had the convention, right? So, yeah, that also majorly helped. So a lot of huge stuff going on. Alabama, the Democratic candidate for the Clay County Commission, has been arrested on voter fraud charges. Terry Andrew Heflin, 45, is charged with 7 counts of unlawful use of absentee ballots. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall announced this on Wednesday. This is felony, but once again, it's a Democrat running for Clay County Commission, cheating and breaking the law. Gotta love that. Gotta love how they roll. Hamadeh defeats Masters in Arizona primary, pitting Trump allies against each other. So the way this basically played out is Trump initially said, Hamadeh is my guy. And then whatever the case was, Blake Masters somehow managed to get Trump to sort of say, all right, and Blake Masters, I like both of you guys. Voters, you figure it out. You choose, whoever you choose is going to be fine. Well, Blake didn't win. Abraham Hamadeh ended up winning. I guess the total counts, he had almost 30%. Blake Masters had about 25%. In vote counts, that's a pretty significant number of people. All said, he won the primary. Hamadeh will be the one running, so that's interesting. Ohio is purging hundreds of non-citizens from state voter rolls, though, amid 2024 election audit. We at least got some good news. Ohio's fixing their problem, which is also very cool because we've pretty much turned that state back to red, like it kind of needs to be, and not just red, but MAGA red, which I don't know if it's a different color. It should be. Should be. It's not the original maroon-colored red that the deep state was using. So this is huge. They audit uncovered 499 individuals were registered to vote, but were not U.S. citizens. The removals announced Thursday. Not huge numbers, but the fact is that we're, one, getting an avenue to do this kind of stuff. And, it still makes a difference. That's 499 people that actually were taking away someone else's vote. So that's significant. That's very significant, at least in my opinion. Guys, financial freedom is a funny thing. The world's going through major chaos right now, and we know this. Inflation is happening. The Fed, in fact, I had the story somewhere, but the Fed did not raise rates. This is not what they did not lower rates, and this is not what they wanted or expected. They're still saying that maybe by the end of the year something will happen, but inflation's still too high, they're saying. And again, relative to where it was. It's not just this 2% thing, because that's still 2% means every year your dollar loses 2% of its purchasing power, every single year. And when you look at when the Federal Reserve started printing the dollars, right now we're down, it's like 97% or some crazy thing. It's like been whittled away like it's nothing compared to what it once was worth. That value is not going to get better. The Federal Reserve note, the dollar, it's not going to get better. The system, frankly, needs to come down. We need to get the central bank out of here, and that's got to be part of the bankruptcy or whatever that's going to happen. There will be a shakeup. There might be stock market crashes before. There is going to be a shakeup at some point. We don't know when and where and how, but we can see the writing on the wall. This bubble is huge, and it's got to pop, and it's going to pop. You don't want to be in their system when it does. If you've got a bunch of cash or extra cash, or if you want to try to take some of the cash you have and actually, one, not just hold the value that it currently has right now, but actually will gain value because of how these things have been playing out. The trajectory, the way the value, the price essentially of gold has gone up so much so that it's actually more valuable than it was when you bought it at the earlier time. Gold is an incredible investment and is continuing to move in the upward direction. The value of the dollar is getting bitten out of every single day. This is one of those things where you don't really want to wait. Every day you wait is a day that you're losing potential value that you could carry over. You're going to just every day your dollar gets less. Every day your stocks are questionable and the value gets less because it's based off dollars. And every day the price of gold, well, it's fluctuating. It kind of capped here a little bit, but we know it's going to spike again. So that's, again, one of those gambles, frankly, you don't want to take. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you out. I'm a customer too. They're awesome. The experience was amazing. It was extraordinarily efficient. I literally did DocuSign. I don't know if it's legal everywhere or how that works. I was able to for whatever reason. I think a lot of people can. And it was ridiculously easy. Seriously. It was less than one day and I had purchased gold and I had received it in the mail very shortly after. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. If you're in an IRA or a 401k, you can get out of that system tax-free and penalty-free. Tax-free, penalty-free. That is physical metals that are actually put in a trust, though. They don't ship those to you. That would be considered like a payout, right? So that doesn't happen. But it's physical metals, and they are put in a trust, and you could request them at some point in the future if you so decide. Again, there's tax ramifications, potentially penalties, depending. But you can get out of their system tax-free, penalty-free, sidestep over into a precious metals IRA. Essentially what it is. And then now you're parked in something that's gaining value and has gained 45% it's up. Bitcoin's up more, and it's the only two real assets right now that are actually up. Everything else is down when you factor it in towards according to inflation, right? Everyone's like, well, my house costs more than it used to. Yeah, but it's the same box of goods for twice the price, which means twice your value is gone. Your house is worth the exact same it was, and actually less, because roofs get older and stuff like that. So that is actually shows the inflation and how bad it really is. It's horrible. Ever since 2008 when they started printing money, and then COVID made it way worse, like every time they print mass amounts of money, this happens. And also we've got, we're hitting 100 trillion every 100 days, and that's actually faster. It's happening quicker than that. It's a mess. This can't keep going. Park what you can, save it. It'll be there for you, because when we go to a new currency or whatever, it'll be backed by precious metals, or if not, you can liquidate easily at that time for whatever the new, dollars are, whatever we're going to call them. Federal or U.S. dollars, U.S. reserves, I don't know, whatever they get called. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Just get out, because they want you broke. They want you to lose your money. They don't care about you. You've got to care about you. You've got to do that decision that's kind of like opposite of what they say, because the people that love you are trying to let you know there's a better way. You can save a lot of that wealth. You're not gonna if you leave it where it's at. You can save it. drslikesgold.com. Save that wealth. All right, some weird stuff going on in the UK. I don't know why. It's strange as hell, but we got this United Kingdom is going to deploy mass surveillance to track or tackle violent disorder. I guess I'll play this. He's got an accent, so he sounds smart. Can't tell if he's angry or not.
I can announce today that following this meeting, we will establish a national capability across police forces to tackle violent disorder. These thugs are mobile. They move from community to community. And we must have a policing response that can do the same. Shared intelligence, wider deployment of facial recognition technology, and preventative action, criminal behaviour orders to restrict their movements before they can even board a train. in just the same way that we do with football hooligans. And let me also say to large social media companies and those who run them, violent disorder clearly whipped up online, that is also a crime. It's happening on your premises, and the law must be upheld everywhere.
I'm curious to see how, because that's an attack on Musk, obviously. Very curious to see how that's going to go. Because all these deep state people, right now, England, they're spying on you guys big time. And they're going to turn it up. And I think a lot of you guys are so gentlemanly that you're going to just sit on your hands while this happens. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But then on top of that, now they're demanding that Elon Musk must censor whoever they say. How does that work? I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it gets to the point where maybe certain countries just don't get to have Twitter, right? Because you've got just a couple countries right now that are trying to, well, the EU, and then you've got England now, and probably France at some point, are trying to force Elon Musk to do what they want him to do. This is the deep state at work, folks. These are your leaders. They don't give a shiz about you. They want to control you. That's what they want. They want to get richer and richer and keep you controlled. UK cuts the feed of a police inquiry hearing after the witness admits that MI5 spies are tasked with smearing political activists. This guy was basically admitting to stuff that you're not supposed to admit to. MI5 is kind of the spy cops type part of the government, I guess, over there. I think MI7's I think that's like the CIA kind of more, right? Like that's their version of it, if anything. But like MI5 is kind of, I don't know, or spy cops. I don't know. Maybe it's closer to FBI, even wonder. Whatever the case is, they were actually smearing political candidates that they disagreed with. I went back and they were saying it was left-leaning political candidates, but I don't. It's weird is the way the nomenclature on their conservative left, right, like it just seems strange in England. It doesn't seem like it really matches like the Labour Party. Like I think that's pretty hardcore left-leaning, but didn't used to be. And I think a lot of people that are laborers are I don't know. I don't want to pretend I understand what the hell's going on. And the guy's going to email me and explain it all to me, and I'm just going to like gloss over because I don't care. Larry, I don't. I love you guys, and I want to see you guys fight for your country. But ultimately, I'm not going to be the dude that's fighting for England. I'm fighting for America first, and then when we got time, we'll help clean up some shit elsewhere. This is Ireland right here, folks. Huge fire broke up in Dublin. It was outside of the UK folder, just so you know, even though technically I think Ireland is part of the UK, but I did this out of respect for the Irish. I think I have some, well, my family has some heritage in the Irish area, all said. That part of our family lives forever. Frick, you guys don't die. At least they don't. Report finds U.S. military lacks ability to defeat China. It suggests a Cold War-style defense spending. Now, they admit we've got the best military in the world, and no one can touch us, really. But if we decided that we wanted to go to war with China, we would lose. That's what the whole point of this, which is kind of a stupid article. I just wanted to bring it up because I knew a lot of people are going to be saying, do you see the thing where they say that the United States couldn't defeat China? Yeah, we wouldn't be able to conquer China. No. That's basically it. They say once we get within 1,000 miles of China's shore, we start to lose our military dominance, and we could find ourselves on a losing end of a conflict. Yeah. You can only send so much power over in carriers, right? And then once you launch all your missiles, those boats don't have missiles anymore. There's no magic reload button. They got to do this very complex thing to be able to reload those missiles. And I would assume in a lot of cases it has to be done at port. So that's hard to do also. You can only bring so much firepower with you. And China's got like the whole damn country. So yes, if we tried to take over China, we would lose. I highly recommend we don't try to take over China. Are you guys cool with that? Let's not do that. I like Chinese people, frankly. I don't like the what's a CCC or CCP. I don't like the communist part for sure. But the Chinese people are awesome. Awesome people. It's like the Iranian people are awesome people. So it's not fair what labels we're throwing around. Again, this is deep state trying to manage hatred for countries, for total groups of people. And again, it's something that bugs me in general. I don't like going after or labeling a group of people per se. I probably do it from time to time. Well, deep state, I label them. But I feel like that one's fair. I don't know. I'm a bit of that's a little hypocritical, I admit. I'll own that one. U.S. deploys 12 warships in the Middle East. Initially, it was 3. They were talking about the Wasp and a couple others. Now it's 12. I don't know if that's just a supporting craft or if they're literally bumping up the numbers in a big way. I still think these were the same, the light Hilo LHC or whatever the hell. They're like the vertical takeoff at best type carrier type things, not necessarily anything that could, launch like a regular jets, regular aircraft carrier. They're totally different. So U.S. is deploying 12 warships in the Middle East. Tensions are definitely getting hotter. What's going on in Israel is concerning, to say the least. And let's just quickly go over this. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has issued an order for Iran to strike Israel directly in retaliation for the killing of the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh. First off, Israel has not admitted they did it. Israel has also not said they didn't do it. Israel's said nothing. So we're going to find out what happens here. But right now, Iran's basically saying it was you. Now, did the deep state do this attack? Was it actually the white hats that did this attack? And they don't really know who to attack? I'm not sure, but they're going to go ahead and attack Israel, it sounds like. Iran's Ayatollah Khamenei orders direct attack on Israel, this report is saying. They commanded Iranian forces to launch a direct attack. We'll find out what this all means. But what is interesting is right now, global military information has put out NOTAMs, or no flight zones, basically, that have been issued in Iran. So at this time, there are no exercises scheduled anywhere near these places where it looks like there's possibly going to be an attack. So that'll likely come probably within 24 hours of me saying this right now. Probably. We'll see if we're talking about it tomorrow or not, but most likely Iran's going to be doing the attack. Seems like they typically launch them at night, and I don't know what kind of attack this is going to be. Is it just going to be another giant missile barrage? I don't know. And maybe we've got enough craft out there that can help. Who knows? We'll see. Donald Trump truth this. So when are they going to release the details of the prisoner swap with Russia? How many people do we get versus them? Are we also paying them cash? Are they giving us cash? Please withdraw that question because I'm sure the answer is no. Are we releasing murderers, killers, or thugs? Just curious because we need to make good deals at anything, but especially hostage swaps. Our negotiators are always an embarrassment to us. I got back many hostages and gave the opposing country nothing and never any cash. To do so was bad precedent for the future. That is the way it should be, or this situation will get worse and worse. They are extorting the United States of America. They're calling the trade complex. That's so nobody can figure out how bad it is. So what is he talking about? He's talking about this freeing 20 to 30 political prisoners in this historic exchange that actually occurred, which we've now got the people. Russia is releasing the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan as part of this major prisoner swap with the U.S., according to people familiar. So we get back, I don't know who Paul Whelan is, and I'm not trying to diminish any of these people, and I would never want somebody to get stuck in a prison in Russia for any length of time, nor in this country, nor anywhere would I want somebody to get stuck in prison. But the dude that we actually gave up, or at least one of the key dudes we gave up, is concerning, to say the least. The men jailed in Russia on espionage charges they and the U.S. deny are en route to destinations outside of Russia. So this is already, swap has kind of already happened. A couple things about it. I mean, this is all the people, if you care. But essentially, it involved Germany. There was a particular individual that was specifically held in Germany. So the Germans had to get involved. So then they had some stuff they wanted in response. So it was complex from that standpoint for sure. It was also not a good deal by any way, shape, or form. But we got Evan Gorshkovich, Vladimir Kara-Murza, Paul Whelan, Ilya Yashkin. I don't need to say all these names because I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce most of them. But in return, Russia has received FSB operative Vadim Krasikov, along with multiple spies and fraudsters. Vadim Krasikov, he's a bad dude. He's an assassin. He's killed a bunch of people. He's a serious dude. He's a unit of the FSB Spetsnaz Center and was later identified as the perpetrator of several contract killings, including that of a businessman, Alexander Kozlov, in Karelia in 2007, a businessman in Moscow in 2015, a Chechen refugee in Berlin in 2019. So apparently this dude was, killing people everywhere. He was quite the killer, one would say. Of course, here's Biden talking about it.
Well, good.
And first, I want to say he seems surprisingly good for the first half of this. So, like, you'll be like, holy crap, he sounds like he's doing a pretty good job, right? I think he's high on children. Just look at the screen if you can, but there's a bunch of children in here. I'm sure this dude's high as a kite in his own little weird way, right? His body, those endorphins are still firing off like mad. I bet this dude's just shedding all sorts of scary stuff. So, understand that. But then, like I said, about halfway through it, he starts to fumble a little bit, and it was like, okay, here we go. All said, here's Joe Biden bragging about the prisoner swap where we released a major criminal killer Spetsnaz dude for some journalists. And again, no offense to either of you guys. I don't want you, Michael and what's your face, I don't want you guys ever to be in jail, and nor should you be, but I don't think releasing someone that's really bad for somebody that's like, you're just a journalist, dude, or whatever. All said, kind of messed up, is what it is.
Good afternoon. And this is a very good afternoon. A very good afternoon. Today we're bringing home Paul, Evan, Alsu, Vladimir. 3 American citizens and 1 American green card holder. All 4 have been imprisoned unjustly in Russia. Paul for nearly 6 years. Vladimir since 2022. Evan since March of 2023. And Alsu since October of 2023. Russian authorities arrested them, convicted them in show trials, and sentenced them to long prison terms with absolutely no legitimate reason whatsoever, none. Paul, a former Marine, was in Russia for a wedding. Evan, a journalist with Russia, in Russia, was in Russia, assigned by the Wall Street Journal. Alsu, also a journalist, was in Russia to see family. All 3 falsely accused of being spies. And Vladimir was a Russian citizen by birth and holds an American green card. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and was a pallbearer at my friend John McCain's funeral with me. He spoke out against Putin's regime. And for that, he was convicted of treason. And now, their brutal ordeal is over, and they're free. Moments ago, the families and I were able to speak to them on the telephone from the Oval Office. They're out of Russia. Earlier today, they were flown to Turkey, and soon they'll be wheels up on their way home to see their families. This is an incredible relief for all the family members gathered here. It's relief to the friends and colleagues all across the country who've been praying for this day for a long time.
Do you think, like, that's his mask getting all weird? Like, they got it glued to his forehead, but, like, whatever weirdness he's doing makes this funky, like, wrinkle? It just seems strange. And it also seems colored differently than up here, but whatever. Like, maybe they just did his makeup poorly, right? Oh, same thing, kind of. Who knows? Sounded like they said the other dude was also a journalist, which, yeah, no. So here's the thing, right? Like, here, a lot of the journalists are CIA. Makes me assume there, a lot of the journalists are CIA. I don't know. I don't feel good about this. That's all. Here's a reporter asking some tough questions about the administration, trying to make sure the prisoner swap doesn't incentivize more people. I think this is Jake Sullivan, sorry, that does the response here. Yeah, I think he takes the question well. I don't know, whatever.
It was quite a moment.
And can you talk about how the administration tries to make sure this doesn't incentivize more arrests of innocent Americans beyond what the president said, advising people not to go abroad in certain places, especially because you're looking at this inherent imbalance between between securing the release of innocent Americans in exchange for rightfully convicted criminals, including a murder?
Look, it's a fair question. It's a question that we grapple with every time that we look at the hard decisions involved in one of these exchanges. It is difficult to send back a convicted criminal to secure the release of an innocent American. And yet, sometimes the choice is between doing that and consigning that person basically to live out their days in prison in a hostile foreign country or in the hands of a hostile power. So from our perspective, we have assessed and analyzed that risk, and we have judged that the benefit of reuniting Americans, of bringing people home, and also of vindicating the idea that the American president and the American government are going to do what it takes to protect and secure the release of innocent Americans, that benefit outweighs the risk, And that's how we have proceeded. I would point out, in addition to that, that in periods of time when the U.S. government didn't tend to do prisoner exchanges, Americans were unjustly detained and held hostage overseas. In periods where we did, Americans were unjustly detained and held hostage overseas. So I think there are real questions, and Roger Carstens, the hostage negotiator at the State Department, has actually pointed out that in this analysis, it is not quite as clear-cut that the evidence actually demonstrates the kind of result that your question speaks to, that a lot more people get taken because we do these exchanges. But it's something that we have to pay attention to, and it's something that makes these decisions by the president not simple decisions, hard decisions, and yet, as he did today, he was prepared to make them. Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I'm happy Americans are coming home, right? Even if they are CIA. I mean, seriously, I am. Letting a murderer loose is a little sketch, but the problem is we don't trust the administration. We don't trust much of the government right now, majorly. And so it's hard to view what they say like it's correct, right? Like all of us are a little like, are you sure what you're saying the truth? Somebody asked, can you confirm whether money was exchanged?
Can you just confirm that no money was exchanged, no sanctions were loosened to facilitate this deal?
Yes, I can confirm that.
Trying to multitask a little too much here. So anyway, yes. So again, looks like at least they're telling us straight to our face, whether we believe them or not, that they didn't pay any money for this. Okay, cool. Gershkovich requested interview with Putin in the Russian form, finalizing his release. Apparently, in the Russian form, he essentially had to request permission from Putin, specifically, that he would like to be released. This finalizing the deal. It's a major prison. He had to officially ask for presidential clemency, is how this played out. So essentially, Putin gave him clemency, but on that form, Gershkovich apparently asked if Putin would be willing to interview with him. I am so doubtful that would happen, especially because he's Wall Street Journal and because he's probably CIA. But maybe, I don't know. I mean, he let Tucker talk to him, right? So who knows? 9/11 Mastermind and two others have struck some sort of plea deals while awaiting trial. This, of course, is happening in Gitmo. This is pissing off some people in the big picture. The families, of course, are like, well, what sort of deal? We should have been involved in this deal-making thing. And they also want to make sure that this doesn't prohibit us from finding out whether or not Saudi Arabia was involved. Now, again, the problem I have with all of this is all under the assumption or the acceptance of their facts that they state that 9/11 was these like 7 dudes that hijacked airplanes, that learned how to fly a Cessna, but somehow was capable of flying a plane at well beyond its soft limits of flights, and almost impossible to control at those speeds, and do something that even experienced pilots in simulators could not do on, like, they'd try it 20 times and maybe they'd get it once out of those 20 times. And these were guys that flew these planes thousands of hours. So this idea that those box cutter wielding people were able to do this is insane. Whatever. Right? I think a lot of us accept that 9/11 was an inside job. So this whole idea that Saudi Arabia was behind it, was Saudi Arabia's deep state behind it? Was that the original king that's no longer there? Right? And so here's the other side of this that's interesting. If it was the king that's no longer there, and he's been dealt with, right? And so the current king right now seemed to be buddy-buddy with Trump. He did the sword dance and stuff. Well, if he's the new guy and he's basically cleaned up, because there was a whole bunch of dudes that had problems. The guy that was on the top in the Vegas shooting, right? The dude that owned that upper floors, that dude, I think, has been dealt with. So some things have happened. And then to have information come out this far after the cleanup, only to piss people off towards Saudi Arabia all over again, right? That would be bad for the big picture, one would assume. So this whole thing I have kind of concerns about the way they're trying to play this out. And the way I think a lot of people get hyped up about stuff. Like, again, 9/11 was an inside job, for sure. Deep State did this. Big time. All the places that got hit were strategic. Like the Pentagon was the one that held all the files that Rumsfeld was talking about, the $2 trillion missing. Well, those are all right where that cruise missile hit, right? Or the fact that these buildings, they changed their insurance right before. There's also the audit, I think, that was done in one of the floors of one of these buildings. Just so much stupid stuff. All that said, like I said, the 9/11 families are pissed, whatever. Again, no disrespect to you guys. You lost your family members, and I'm not trying to... These people are the ones that get mad at you, too, if you say it's an inside job. It's an inside job, though. I understand you lost your mom and dad or whatever, and I feel really bad about that. That sucks. Our government played a role in that. Like, let's get mad at the right people, please. Does Biden still plan to close Guantanamo prison before he leaves office? Karine Jean-Pierre answers that.
And a follow-up on the 9/11 plea deal, if I may. Does the president still plan to close Guantanamo Bay prison before he leaves office? And is there a realistic pathway to do that in the next 6 months?
That's still something that the president wants to do and get done. As far as a timeline, don't have anything for you here, but obviously this is something that he wanted to be done under his administration. Just don't have anything else to read out or preview at this time, but it is something that he's determined to get done.
So one of the larger points made, I think it was Catherine Herridge that made it, was essentially if this plea deal was made and these guys are going to spend their lives in Guantanamo Bay, which I guess some of the prisoners have actually asked for, which is strange too, implies that Guantanamo Bay is not going anywhere, though the administration's still telling us fibs. Again, who has the hardest job in the world, in my opinion? You guys know Karine Jean-Pierre. She's got the hardest job. Not just having to be her. I'm sure that's a challenge in and of itself. I'm kidding. She's probably, I don't know, she might be a really sweet girl. Part of me wants to believe that. But she has got the hardest job on the planet, unquestionably. Elon Musk, I'm coming for you, Maduro. I will carry you to Gitmo on a donkey. Eehaw. He didn't put that, added that part. Well, he has a donkey emoji, which I felt should either fart or say eehaw. Or eeyaw, or however you do it, right? Eeyore. I don't know, frankly. Donkeys are cute as hell, by the way. Anyway, stupid side story that's not worth it. Maduro's giving direct orders to his security forces, instructing them. This is from Ian Miles Chong, which I want to know how the hell you know this, Ian, but whatever. Ian, whatever your name is. But yeah, he's basically saying Maduro's security forces, he's instructed them to keep Elon Musk away at all costs. And so I think Elon's having fun with that, like, I'm coming for you, ooh, 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 right? Like, it's like just being all sneaky and shit. I bet it makes him laugh. I bet it makes Elon laugh, like, a lot. It should. Apparently, just want to remind you guys, Tina Peters, her trial was going on today. It's probably happening right this second as I record. But just want to remind people that she is, once again, still having to fight for her freedoms as well. Rudy Giuliani, another one. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has agreed to his last-minute deal in his bankruptcy case. He's going to pay an estimated $400,000 in administrative fees to a financial advisor hired by his creditors. Court papers are showing. This agreement was filed July 31st, yesterday. According to court filings, Giuliani, 80, will give his lawyers $100,000 to help pay the creditor's forensic financial advisor. They dug up some money, and he had to pay for it. That sucks. The rest of the firm's expenses will be paid from the proceeds of Giuliani selling either his New York City apartment or his Florida condominium, which are both worth an estimated $5.6 million and $3.5 million, respectively, according to documents. But depends if that judge from New York gets a hold of them. They're probably worth much less than that, like $3,500 and maybe $5,000 for the other one. You know, like. Just because. Global Data Risk also put out liens on both those properties. So whenever they sell them for the $3,500, I'm just kidding. We'll see what happens. Wednesday, it was revealed that Disney had laid off 140 employees in its television division. It's not that much. A lot of it's probably DEI stuff, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, Disney is trying to majorly cut. It's bleeding money pretty badly. I think a lot of that, frankly, is the fact that it puts out crap movies and it's ruined just about every franchise it's ever gotten its hands on. Out here, the park next to Disney, what is it called? I can't remember the name. I've never actually been there. I've lived here forever. I've never actually gone to the other one, the Adventureland or whatever the hell it is. I don't know what the hell it's called. I should know. I live right by it, but I can't remember it for the life of me. Never been there. Don't really care. They're turning it all into like Star Wars stuff, I guess, which is not doing very well right now because they keep ruining everything. So that's also funny how they're just spending gobs of money to do all this stuff that's not working. So yeah, they're trying to fix it. Bob Iger said he'd fix it. He's having a hard time fixing it. Don Lemon is suing Elon Musk over his canceled X deal. I'd like to see this one go. Apparently they had a verbal agreement. I don't know if it was in tweets or on the phone. My guess is phone. And so Lemon's suing him, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Elon Musk is probably going to fight this, and Lemon's claiming all sorts of things, and if there's no contract, there's no contract. Lemon should know that. Come on, man. You're not a total idiot, are you? Yeah. Maybe he is. I don't know. He might be. Might be. A lot of people have claimed he is. Glencore's billionaire, ex-oil head, he was charged with corruption by the UK. Apparently this dude was making some sweet deals with the government employees to allow these special business deals with other countries. Something to that effect anyways. Charged in a sweeping series of investigations into corruption and market manipulation at the company, and one of the most senior commodity traders ever to be charged with wrongdoing. The UK's Serious Fraud Office accused Beard of conspiring to make corrupt payments to benefit Glencore's oil operations in West Africa. Now, I do believe in England you're guilty until proven innocent, right? Or you guys, I don't know. You guys, Larry, tell me that one. That one I'm curious about. But yeah, here obviously you'd be innocent until proven guilty. But you're Glencore's top money man, so I'm assuming you're deep state. Sorry. I'm going to let you, go through your court thing. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just going to kind of assume you're deep state. We've got some bombshell FDA email. It's apparently turning transgender healthcare narrative on its head. They acknowledge the fact that these medications that they put among these puberty blockers actually do cause a higher rate of suicide in the people that take it. It's not they're trying to become the other sex that's making them, like they want to do that quicker, and that's what's causing them depression and wanting to commit suicide. They're saying, no, the drug itself is actually enhancing that feeling within these individuals. That's probably not really good. So, all said, it is out. The truth is being shown to us all. A human trafficking sting operation at Comic-Con here in San Diego, California. For those of you that don't know, San Diego's in California, which there's probably people out there. Apparently between July 25th and 27th, undercover officers infiltrated a popular convention. They tracked down the would-be traffickers and victims by posing as potential sex buyers and sellers. Probably walking around with young kids or something. A little sketch. Neither the names of the allegedly involved in the criminal operation nor those who suffered as a result of it have been publicly revealed, though it was noted that one of the victims was only 16 years old, so at least they are catching some bad people. Disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is suing. There's a play that he apparently put out, or executive produced, called Finding Neverland. It's like some sort of weird behind the scenes of Peter Pan or something. He apparently could be owed nearly $500,000, and that's just in the weekly fees. But he's supposedly also supposed to get 25+% of the gross profits, or of the profits, the share of the profits. They don't know what the profits may have been for this. They can't even speculate. But on top of that, when you just look at the fees, $5,750 a week, that's about $465K right there. So the dude's going to probably get a big old chunk of money. I think he needs help for lawyer fees. Let's be totally honest. All these things said, I think changes are happening. We're making a difference. I think we've got a bump in the night coming, or a bump in the day or something. I don't know exactly when or how. I don't know. I don't even know if it, how well I'm going to feel it when we're closer to it. I don't know. It just feels like it's huge. And it just, right? It's like being really close to the sun or something. And you're like, well, I'm either 10 million miles from the sun or 8 million miles from the sun. It's technically a lot of difference, but the sun's huge at that point. What difference does it make, right? Not a lot. So it feels to me kind of like that, but we'll see. Maybe I've kind of almost gotten used to it, which is getting a little frightening too. Just this ominous thing, like big giant monster over my shoulder. It's like, yeah, I see you. I totally am aware of you. Anyway, what are we going to do about it? We're going to take it day by day. That's all I can say. Shoulder to shoulder, walking right with you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.